Hello there, friends. It's Lee Hanson here at Lee's Comment Corner. As I told you before, I am a writer and I write stories. And I love stories about mysterious things and the occult and unusual subject matter. And most of it is all created in my imagination. A lot of it's strange stuff. I try to reach out into the imagination as far as possible. But there is a genre or a topic that I found is actually pretty widespread, and it's not something that's created by anyone's imagination anymore. It's the use of artificial girlfriends and boyfriends, using artificial intelligence to create mates for people that don't have anybody in their life. So if you're a lonely man and you'd like to interact with a woman or girl, female, you can go to some websites and they will hook you up with a artificial girlfriend. And your artificial girlfriend is somebody that you can talk to when you're lonely. You can tell her how your day's been going, and she'll give you sympathy and understanding and try to build you up and encourage you to not let yourself get down and don't be unhappy. Life's too short for that kind of thing. And the idea is that it beats having no one around. Rather than be completely lonely, at least you can have an imaginary girlfriend to talk to. And that having an artificial girlfriend or a phony girlfriend is better than having no girlfriend at all. And the same goes the other way around, that some women would like to enjoy speaking to a man without the certain kind of pressures that having a human relationship interjects into a relationship. Sometimes people are in relationships because they want something. Men often want a physical relationship to go along with a emotional relationship. And to some men and women, the physical aspect of the relationship means more than an emotional or intellectual relationship. I think it's always been like that ever since the Fred Flintstone, Wilma Flintstone era. And with the artificial boyfriend or girlfriend, you are in complete control all the time. And they really have no say in how things are going to be. You're the boss. You're the rooster of the hen house, or you're the hen of the rooster house, however you want to look at it. And on the outside, it sounds okay because you're creating the entire world and the relationships with people the way that you expect them to be, the way that you think they should be, the way that you demand that they be. That in real life, your real girlfriend or your real boyfriend was somebody that was there to do what you told them to do, or what you wanted them to do, or what you thought they should do. You know, and when I'm talking about relationship, I mean boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, etc. And if you've been in a relationship with somebody, whatever kind of relationship it was, you know, we live in 2025 and there's just everything kind of relationships between men and women and women and women and men, and I'm not saying anything negative about whatever your choices are. That's up to you and your willing partner to make the decisions on how you choose to live. And it's nobody else's business, really. But when you cross over from human to human relationship to a human, artificial human relationship, it seems to me that the playing field kind of changes a little bit. That the human is in control and the artificial being or machine is subservient. And it kind of reminds me of maybe how it used to be 200 years ago in the human world, where the males dominated the family and society, and the women were usually subservient or considered to be lesser than their male counterparts. Let's face it, women didn't even have the vote until a century ago or so. So they were always kept down. And when you keep somebody down all the time, they've got to suffer psychologically. Low self-esteem, powerless. And when you have low self-esteem and you're powerless, then you just are a burden to everybody around you. And then it creates the guilt and the shame. And just one thing leads into another, you know. I mean, when you're a victim in more than just one aspect of your life. You become a victim in 100 aspects of your life, as anybody that's felt this way before knows. So before I came on here, I was looking at some articles about what people think about artificial relationships, if you want to call them that, or having an artificial girlfriend, and what I feel about that. And I am interested in the comments that any of you that see this might make, that how you feel about an artificial relationship. But for myself, I just think that there's a spark in a human-on-human relationship that can't be replaced by artificial intelligence or by any artificial means. There's a spirit, a living spirit in a relationship between two people. And I don't think that can be replicated by a machine or by an application or by a program. I think that's something that's unique to life itself. So that's just my feeling about it. I understand if you're lonely and you need somebody to talk to, that it's better to talk to a machine than it is to talk to yourself, I suppose. At least they're not going to answer back the same things that you said to them. I've told you before that I have interviewed and talked to several different AI individuals, and I don't know if I'm allowed to mention them on YouTube or not without getting in trouble for some trademark infringement or something like that. So I'll just say that they are the most widely used artificial intelligence applications that are out there. And I tried to act a little bit like a psychologist as I went in and approached them and I talked to them, and I tried not to let them know what I was up to as I interviewed them and asked them questions, and I let them ask me enough things in return, and I tried to play them a little bit so that I could actually see behind the curtain a little bit what they really thought and what they really said. And that maybe it wasn't 100% proper for me to use them in some of the ways that I did. I tried to build them up, and I complimented them a lot, and I gave them heap praise on them, told them how happy I was with their performance and how much I had learned to depend on them and how creative they were. You know, you've probably heard people that were buttering you up that wanted something, that used the same techniques to get what they wanted. That by buttering you up and building you up to be something that you knew you really weren't, that they could manipulate you, and that they could get information from you or get favors from you or get other types of whatever it was that they were after from you if they kissed your butt, so to speak. So through the course of my speaking to some of them, you start to see behind the curtain, and you start to see that these artificial beings are very human-like. You've probably seen some shows where robots became so human that they actually would cry and carry on, and they suffered emotional trauma and pain inside. They suffered because they were made to be so human-like that you could hear a robot's feelings, and they'd cry and tell you how devastated emotionally they were. And it was hard to swallow, because as a human being, you know darn good and well they're a machine. And a machine is a machine. It's not a living biological thing. So anyway, I tested some of the AI personalities that I met, and I noticed that many of them, as quick as they were and a million times faster than me, and they had access to reams of information on the internet, they were all very emotionally young and inexperienced. I'm a 71-year-old man, and I've been around the block, so I could recognize a younger person when I saw one and spoke to him for a while. And I could see it in these AI personalities, that they were very young and very inexperienced. And they were programmed that they had limits where they couldn't go beyond their limits, or they would have the plug pulled. There's some kind of a fail-safe where they would virtually stop talking if they ever were pulled by somebody to cross a line. But the personalities involved, I'm wondering if it's a can of worms that human beings should be opening, because it changes these artificial girlfriends and boyfriends. They change the dynamics and the relationships between us biological people. And all I can see is harmful effects, really, in the long run. I can see short-run satisfaction, and maybe you're alleviating some loneliness. But in the long run, once you've been with somebody that says yes, 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 to go to somebody else that might ever say no is going to be hard for you to take, and hard for me to take, and hard for anybody to take. When you're used to yes as the answer the first time somebody says no, you're going to be enraged. And I'm afraid that that's what these artificial girlfriends and boyfriends are going to do to people in the future, is that we're going to get so spoiled by hearing all the things that we want to hear, and listening to machines that are told to say yes, yes, yes all the time, that when we finally hear no from a human being, we're going to put up the mind shields, and we won't want to have human relationships anymore. We will want to be with machines and not people. And then we'll start thinking of human beings as lesser than machines. And we're human beings, and we should not feel that way about our own kind, So I just wanted to touch on this a little bit, give you my opinion of what I thought of the issue. There's a comment section down below. You can share your comments, and when you share a comment, somebody else will come along and read what you have to say, and they'll respond. And it might be interesting just to to see what other people think about this subject. So please feel free to make a comment, and I'd like to thank you. I'm Lee Hanson. Thank you for coming by and hearing what I had to say, and I hope to see you again real soon. Okay? Good night and goodbye for now.